Welcome back, everybody, to Deep Dive. This time, we're heading into a huge Europa League clash, or Real Sociedad taking on Manchester United, and we've got a ton of insights for you guys to help you understand exactly what's on the line.
Yeah, and I think what's really exciting about this one is you've got two teams that are kind of fighting for their European lives, but in totally different ways.
Yeah.
We've got a real clash of ambitions going down at the Real Arena.
Absolutely, and I think we should start with Manchester United. They're currently sitting in 14th place in the Premier League, which is, I mean, pretty unheard of for a club of their stature. And it's not just about pride here. Missing out on Champions League football next season would be a major financial blow.
Oh, yeah, we're estimating it could cost them tens of millions in revenue. So for them, winning the Europa League is like the golden ticket back to the, top tier of European competition.
They've been pretty dominant in the Europa League so far this season, haven't they?
Yeah, they're the only unbeaten team left in the competition, 3 draws, 5 wins in the league phase, and they've bagged 16 goals in the process. So I think it's clear they're taking this tournament seriously.
But this is where things get interesting. Manchester United had a pretty tough time last year in Spain. They lost to Sevilla in the quarterfinals. Could history repeat itself against Real Sociedad?
Yeah, it's possible. Real Sociedad haven't exactly lit up La Liga this season, but they're a team that, I think wants to make a statement on the European stage. They've never made it past the round of 16 in any European competition this century. So this match against Manchester United is a real chance for them to break that curse.
Yeah, I mean, their record against English teams at home is not exactly inspiring, is it?
No, it's not. 1 draw, 3 losses against English opposition at the Real Arena. But, their journey to the knockout rounds has been pretty crazy. They finished 13th in the league phase and then just demolished FC Midtjylland in the playoff round, winning 7-3 on aggregate.
So it seems like they can really turn it on when they need to.
Exactly. And, we've seen their home crowd play a huge role in their performances. The Real Arena, it's known for its atmosphere, and that can definitely give them an edge.
Well, let's talk about injuries, because both teams are dealing with some pretty big issues.
Right. So Real Sociedad will be without John Pacheco and Arsene Zakarian due to injuries, and it's still uncertain whether Alvaro Odriozola will be fit to play. The good news is Sheraldo Becker and Takefusa Kubo are back from their bans.
And for Manchester United, it's a long list. Maguire, Ugarte, Martinez, Diallo, Menu, Shaw, Evans, Mount Baindier, and Heaton are all sidelined. And young Cheeto Obi Martin is ineligible for this one. So, wow, that's a lot of missing pieces, and it's definitely going to have a big impact on both teams' starting lineups and their tactical approach.
Absolutely. Real Sociedad's coach, Imanol Alguacil, has a tough choice to make up front. Does he go with Mikel Oyarzabal, their top scorer in La Liga this season, or does he opt for Ori Oskarsson, who's their leading scorer in the Europa League?
Yeah, and Oyarzabal is known for his clinical finishing, his ability to create chances out of nothing. He's a real threat in the box, whereas Oskarsson brings that pace and directness. He's a constant menace for defenders, with his runs in behind.
Yeah, it's a great point. That choice could really dictate how they approach the match. A more experienced striker like Oyarzabal might suit a possession-based game, while Oskarsson's pace could be lethal on the counter.
And what about Manchester United? Lindelof might have to step in for Maguire in defense. Could we see a surprise appearance from Patrick Dorgu? And up front, it's really a toss-up between Højlund and Xerxes.
Yeah.
Both of them have shown glimpses of brilliance.
Yeah, and we're looking at all those scenarios, crunching the numbers, seeing how each player's absence or inclusion could shift the dynamics of the match.
And, of course, you have to think about the psychological impact of all these injuries. How will Manchester United cope with such a depleted squad? Will Real Sociedad sense an opportunity to take advantage?
Yeah.
These are the types of questions that we're really trying to get at here at Tips Moto.
Absolutely. We're trying to look beyond the surface, consider everything from those individual matchups to overall team formations, tactical trends.
So much to unpack here.
Yeah, for sure.
Let's take a quick break, and we'll be back to dig deeper into all the key factors that could decide this match right after this.
Sounds good. It's it's interesting to think about how these injuries might force both managers to kind of adapt their game plan. Will they become more conservative, or is this an opportunity for them to take more risks?
And then you have to think about the psychological impact of this first leg. A strong performance here could really set the tone for the whole tie. Will Real Sociedad prioritize a solid defense at home, or will they go all out for a win, hoping to take a lead to Old Trafford?
It's tough. They have to be aware of Manchester United's attack, even with the missing players, but a, goalless draw at home might not be enough to give them that cushion for the second leg.
Yeah, the same goes for Manchester United, right? Will they be content with a draw knowing they have that second leg at home? Or will they go for it and, risk it all for a decisive victory in Spain? It's a gamble either way.
And we've also been looking at recent form. Real Sociedad are coming off those two tough losses to Real Madrid and Barcelona.
Yeah. Could that, dent their confidence, or will it light a fire under them? I mean, it's hard to say.
It really is. And then you have Manchester United struggling in the Premier League, but undefeated in the Europa League. Can they maintain that European form despite their domestic woes? It's a very interesting kind of contrast in narratives.
And, Manchester United's desperation for that Champions League spot might make them play more aggressively, which could lead to a very open, high-scoring game. I mean, we've seen that before in these European matches.
For sure. And, Real Sociedad's home crowd, they can be pretty intense, and they could definitely rattle a Manchester United team that's already under a lot of pressure. We've seen how the Real Arena can become a cauldron of noise, and, that can definitely affect the players.
But you mentioned earlier that Real Sociedad's home crowd has been a bit quiet lately. Could that be a sign that Manchester United won't face that same level of intensity?
Yeah, it's possible. I mean, maybe those recent losses have, dampened the fan spirits a little bit, but a match against a giant like Manchester United, it might be exactly what they need to, reignite that passion.
So another thing we have to consider is how both teams might adapt tactically to those missing players.
Yeah, and I mean, for example, without Maguire, Manchester United's defense could be more vulnerable to Real Sociedad's counterattacks. We've seen that his absence can sometimes disrupt their defensive organization.
And on the other side, Real Sociedad might struggle to control the midfield without Pacheco. He's really the anchor of their midfield. And his absence could allow Manchester United more freedom to dictate the pace.
Right, and then there's the question of how the replacements will perform. Will Lindelof be able to fill Maguire's shoes? Can Dorgu step up if he gets the chance? These individual battles within the match can be just as important as the overall tactics.
It's all connected, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly.
Well, over here at Tips Moto, we're looking at it all. We're analyzing historical data, recent performance trends, even the, potential psychological impact of these injuries to give our users the best analysis we can.
We want to give you that edge when it comes to betting. We're not just, looking at the obvious as we're digging deep to uncover those factors that could swing the match.
Okay, so we've talked about the pressure on Manchester United and Real Sociedad's home advantage and the impact of all those injuries, but what does this all actually mean for you? Like, how can you use this information to make smarter betting decisions?
Well, that's where Tipsmodo really comes in. We've taken everything we've discussed, the team form, head-to-head records, even those, psychological effects of the injuries, and we feed it all into our models.
Yeah, we're not just, going with our gut feeling here. Our algorithms analyze tons of data to give you the most accurate insights possible, so you can get that extra edge when you're placing your bets.
And of course, responsible betting is key. Bet within your means. Never chase losses. Betting should be a fun way to enjoy the beautiful game, not a source of stress.
Exactly. So if you're looking to, add a little extra excitement to this Europa League clash, head over to www.tipsmoto.co.ke. We've got all the expert analysis and betting tips you need to make this match even more thrilling.
Yeah, we've got everything from pre-match analysis to live updates, in-play betting opportunities, so don't miss out.
All right, that's going to do it for this deep dive. Thanks for joining us.